There was a good comparison by a guy called Rory Flynn, I think, comparing DALL-E 3 to Midjourney side by side. Midjourney probably still edges it on quite a few of these, but DALL-E 3 catching up. And one really interesting thing with it is, and obviously Midjourney has never been able to do that.
If you're a technology optimist like me, these are good things. Obviously, need to be checks and balances against those. But I can see why people are a little bit, where is this all going? But this is where it's going. It's not going to stop.
And you've got to educate people as well, right? People's exact voices were being copied to use to ring a family member to ask for money to be transferred. So we are in a place now where if you've got a family, you should probably think about having some sort of where you can actually identify, is this my son or daughter? Because it might be an AI impersonating them asking you to do something, right?
We had a lot of applications, didn't we? But of course, what we tried to do was utilise the technology as well as the human side. To not speed it up, to make more, to give us a better insight to the people that are out there that may be more aligned with us as a business. This is a audio device that records your life, basically. But I'm not sure it's good AI though, because is that where it's going? And the privacy things would make me feel a little bit icky, to be honest, about that. I was going to listen to it for an hour. So it just looped. It's like, hang about a minute. You just woke me up, you fucker.
Right, anyway. Hey, look, I've got something for you.
Go on.
I definitely had a better month on LinkedIn than you did. Do you want to know why?
Well, not really, but go on.
No, definitely.
Tell me.
Snoop Dogg liked one of my posts. How about that? Huh?
You haven't stopped talking about it, to be fair, mate.
For shizzle.
For shizzle?
For shizzle. Like one of my posts. Now, you know, I imagine he gets up in the morning and the first thing he thinks is, shit, what am I going to post on LinkedIn today? You know, maybe when he's having a shit, just quickly, how many likes did I get? What will I post today? Bit of post-reach anxiety, do you think? You imagine that?
You're overthinking this. You've had one celebrity's team like one of your posts.
You don't think it's him?
Let's ask.
No, of course
Next
it's not.
time we come into him, in Soho House, we'll ask.
Of course it's not him.
We'll ask him.
Of course it's not. It's his team. It's his team probably using ChatGPT to write replies and posts on his behalf. Let's be honest.
Can I raise you a celeb?
Go on then.
All right. Do you know John Cena?
Yep.
Follows me on Twitter. True story.
Has he liked any of your tweets?
I'm going to go and talk to his team to make sure they do like one so we can have a better conversation next time.
Come back and talk to me when he's liked one of your tweets, all right? That's it.
Well, he's followed.
Job done, right? I won social media this month. That's it. Okay?
So it's a poor start, isn't it?
All right.
It's a poor start, mate. This is going pretty well. It's not good. All right, good.
What have we got on today? What are we talking about?
Wow, it's been really, really exciting since the last pod. Lots going on.
Yeah.
Loads to talk about in AI, exponential tech, us as a business, building a public. So we've got a lot to cover, haven't we?
Definitely. Actually, building a public is a good place to kick off. Because we're hiring, which is good, generally good news. And we've run a recruitment process, haven't we, to find some machine learning engineers. So what do you think of that? What do you think of the process?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? We had a lot of applications, didn't we? Which I'm sure we can say there was several hundred. Right?
Yeah.
So the market's interesting. But of course, what we tried to do was utilise the technology as well as the human side to not speed it up, to make more, to give us a better insight to the people that are out there that may be more aligned with us as a business and where we're going and the skills that we need. So that was an interesting process, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. It was. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the sheer number of people, I think we got more than we thought in a 3-day job post on LinkedIn. And then we, you went through the list manually in its entirety, because we asked everybody to answer 7 questions, specifically for machine learning engineers, which about just over half came back and answered those 7 questions, and they wrote a lot, didn't they?
They did. They
gave us a load of insight. So you read through them manually, and you shortlisted nearly 30, I think, candidates. Yeah. And then we also built a little scoring system using advanced data analysis, which was down to how well they answer the questions, what they had used, real world examples, depth of answer, clarity of answer, and we got AI to create a short list.
We did.
And we compared the two. And I think actually we had a crossover of 12 candidates in both lists.
Yeah.
So not bad. So we had quite a high crossover. And then we found some additional ones, and AI found some additional ones as well.
It's really useful, isn't it? I found the process really fascinating.
Yeah.
And actually, I was quite sort of surprised at the crossover, because they were our top 5, 10, 15 candidates, and we had about 80% with AI and human. So that's interesting. The other interesting thing that I found was, having been through all the people who answered the questions manually, because obviously you'd need to do that as well, was that there was probably, out of those 80 people, I think 4 had used GPT or other tools and hadn't actually changed it at all.
Yeah.
And if you know a bit about them and how they work without prompting kind of more in depth,
Yeah.
that's quite a verbose.
Yeah, there's some clues, aren't there?
There are some clues, some breadcrumbs, some AI
American
breadcrumbs.
language as well.
Loads of stuff, right?
That's a standout.
Yeah.
So
we hired those 4 because I thought, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's quite good.
Well, actually, within that, we do want people to use the tools, right?
We
you
do.
need to know what you're doing.
You also need to just use the tools.
You don't want to answer that question, with the tools, exactly. Another interesting point was, I did some analysis. We had 20% female applicants in the ML engineer role. So 20% of our applicants were female. And in our final shortlist, we had 23% women in the shortlist. So gender-wise, we held pretty much solid in terms of that proportion shortlisting, which I thought was good. And I guess what we'll say on the next pod or a future pod is, when we finally hired somebody, we can let you know where they came from.
Yeah.
Was it one of your picks, or was it an AI?
I can tell you now.
Let's see.
John Cena, I won that one plainly. Number 2, pick human over AI, 100%. We'll see you next pod.
We'll see you next pod.
That's a great process, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it goes to show what we're always kind of talking about, which is technology and humanity, or vice versa.
Exactly.
Is that, not one or the other. It's augmenting and co-piloting, helping.
Yeah.
And that's the approach we should take as a business. And I think
exactly.
other people too.
And actually taking that in, the little tool we've built, we've taken it into the next hire, which is a content hire. And it's enabled us to go from weeks worth of work, following up, giving someone a challenge, reviewing everything, to hours worth of work to be able to do that again the next time round, as we continue building the team. So
I thought
time saving.
I thought the name of that role was really good. Content sorcerer.
Content sorcerer. Yeah.
No AI used
Very
there
nice.
at all. Just me.
Yeah.
Brilliant, mate. Really good. But early in the stage of that one. But that'd be interesting to see how that improves over time, having done that now a couple of times with the machine learning stuff.
Yeah.
So really interested in that. And we didn't get cancelled, which is good. And we did absolutely got some good feedback in terms of the ad, which is a bit different, which is good for a brand, isn't it? Because we're a certain sort of business, we're fast scaling, we're quick, but we've got a certain nuance to us, as a business. And I think attracting those people through that process is really interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of people come on the back of that, and I'm sure it'll be very high quality people.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're going to have to put up with you as well. So that'll be the final tiebreaker question.
Sort of, very good, slightly unhinged people. In fact, somebody fed back on the content sorcerer job description, and they said, because of the language you've used here, you might put some people off.
Yep.
And I went, great.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Hold on, we don't want everybody. We want the right person, particularly in content, because they've got to understand the tone, the brand, and what we want to represent, because it's very, very hard to change somebody into that sort of sphere. So my feedback was, it will, and good. So
that one person, they've been hired. That's what we need, though, right? You need the right person.
Yeah.
But the process is interesting. And this, what we're applying in terms of recruitment, can be applied across other areas of business, obviously. We're going to see more of that in the next 6 months, I think.
Definitely.
As the tools get better, more people are using them. Obviously, we're a bit ahead of the curve because we're in the game every day.
Yeah.
But it's been a really fascinating process, nonetheless. And I think we're going to get we already have got some really good people. So the process is working, so that's a tick.
Very good. Okay. Bad AI. We've got a couple of things in this actually, and let's start first because there was a good comparison by a guy called Rory Flynn, I think, on LinkedIn. Post some good stuff on AI, particularly around the imagery stuff, comparing DALL-E 3 to Midjourney, side by side with a series of prompts, and he compared like short prompts, medium length prompts, more detailed prompts, and looked at the outputs. DALL-E 3's come a long way. It's pretty good. I mean, Midjourney probably still edges it on quite a few of these. We'll probably show some of these on the screen now. And what seemed to be the end result was Midjourney still seemed to be better with people. Mm-hmm. Seemed to do higher quality people, at least off the back of one prompt. Now, we know we've worked on a few projects here. We've got really good imagery from Midjourney, on brand, highly sort of customized imagery with people, which it really, really excelled at. But DALL-E 3 catching up, and one really interesting thing with it is you can put text in. You can ask it to put text on a sign, and it will do it. And obviously, Midjourney has never been able to do that. It just sort of chucks gobbledygook in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's really been doing quite a lot of playing around with it. And exactly right, that whole text. I think Ideogram's another one we've been using quite recently, which was launched maybe 2 months ago, which is good for signage too. I think Ideogram.io, I think. But yeah, Midjourney, DALL-E good for that. Also, interestingly, more accessible as well. So, of course, Midjourney's still sitting on Discord, which will be moved. There's no question at all that for them to scale, they're going to have to take it off Discord and onto open web. So it'll be interesting to see where the stats go, because DALL-E 3 obviously is backed by Microsoft. It's on Bing Chat now. You can use it. So there'll be more people using it over time, I think. The other ones that are interesting in that kind of in that space are obviously Firefly and Adobe. Not probably quite as good, but again, you are indemnified somewhat if you're using enterprise version of Adobe. The same for Getty, who have recently come out. It's interesting. Very recently had just built their own with NVIDIA, built their own image AI. Now, if you remember correctly, Getty back in January of this year, this is how fast it's moving, said absolutely not. No AI, no movement. This is all about quality and our kind of our stock and so on. They've changed their tune pretty quickly, but that's how fast things are moving, right? Exponential tech. Yeah. So that's very unusual for a technology to go from a massive business going from we're not using it, how dare you, to we've built our own with one of the main players. That's how fast it's moving.
That is quick, isn't it? Yeah. And you know what? I use Shutterstock AI at the weekend, and it's not very good in comparison. Like again, off the bat with fairly simple prompts, it's not quite there. But it will need to be for those guys to keep competing, right? In the sort of stock photography space, it will need to get there. So really interesting to see where Getty, Shutterstock, and the others end up getting to. And like you say, fast U-turns, fast progress. Yeah. Let's see where they are in 6 months' time.
Yeah. Well, again, the final point on that, I think, is because they're playing the enterprise game. So the outputs may not be as in-depth, perhaps, for Fireflies and Gettys and stocks and so on, but they're trained on commercially their own library. So you're not going to get the problems that potentially you have with Midjourney and maybe even Stability and some of the other ones. So interesting to see where that goes from here.
Okay. Another one on bad AI then. Well, this depends where you sit. You I think sent me this. Have you bought one? I can't remember. The Humane necklace or pin, right. Is it? Sorry, the Humane one is the pin.
Is the pin, yeah. And there's also the audio.
And then there's the audio necklace, which is recording everything that's going on. So, good AI, bad AI?
Well, let's start with the audio. So that's really interesting. So, so your life can... You know the Truman Show, right? I'm old enough to remember the Truman Show. Great film. I still think we're living in it, frankly, and we're certainly coming. So this is a audio device that records your life, basically. So the privacy implications of that are kind of interesting. Now, I get the fact that, maybe law enforcement, that kind of stuff, and, and there's lots of areas where that could be useful. But I'm not sure it's good AI, though, because is that where it's going? And does it go from an external product now to a patch to in skin? That's where it's going, right? Neuralink and all that kind of stuff. So I think the privacy things would make me feel a little bit icky, to be honest, about that. Yeah. But I understand where it's coming from, because we use, Descript and Otter and Fireflies and various tools when we're doing, meetings and internal to just help us to remember, because one of us has got a really bad memory. It might be an age thing, or just an intelligence thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit on the fence on that one. I don't think it's good and bad.
Yeah.
It depends how you use it, right?
Have you seen the Black Mirror episode, the new one where their stuff records everything that they say, and that couple ends up in a tricky scenario, and they just rewind to go, no, you didn't say that, you said this. And God, it's a super creepy. It was
super creepy.
I'm just describing Roy.
In a world of pain, one man can make a difference. No, I used to be. I didn't.
No. It's quite good, though.
Creepy.
Quite good.
That's about it.
Yeah, it sort of does give you that icky feeling when you watch it. Like, you know, so, and look, you definitely don't want everything recorded. You say every day, I have to listen to half of it. Mate.
You don't need that.
No one needs that, right?
No one needs that in their life.
Okay, yeah, so that's I'm not into that either. I'm not into the recording.
And the pin, so
pin.
The Humane AI pin. Now you may have seen this. I think it was in Fashion Week. One of the big brands have done a collaboration. So this was famously announced in like March, April this year, in a TED talk where I think CEO of Humane, which is the new invisible interface. So it's a pin which does away with the screen, doesn't connect you to your phone, and it's AI based. Now, what that actually means, we'll know on November 9th, because that's when it's launching. Yeah. So really interesting. But it's a small little device, you know, like a couple of centimeters wide, pins onto your clothes, it's a wearable, and supposedly is the future of kind of interface.
And does it project something?
It does project, yeah. Yeah, the demo shown a few months ago was the chap on stage had a phone call from his wife. It comes up on his head, put up his hand. So you're doing away with any interface, a real true invisible interfaces. Whether it works or not, or is a bit gimmicky, these things can sometimes be a bit ahead of the game. We all remember Google Glass, and you know, Snap's try the same thing and so on. Doesn't mean to say it's not going to hit at some point. And interestingly, on the side of that, we have heard recently Johnny Ive, famous Apple product guy, invented half the things used every day, and OpenAI are collaborating on the iPhone of AI.
Yes, I heard this.
So that could be interesting.
Look, I'll paint a picture for you, see where this goes. You've got Johnny Ives collaborating on the iPhone with SoftBank, I think, as well, potentially backing it or involved. OpenAI also potentially looking at building their own chips. There's a massive chip shortage. NVIDIA, there's no more chips till 2024. Right. Building their own chips. OpenAI releasing Python functionality V1 coming out now, so you can code with it. Sam Altman backing WorldCoin, scanning your iris for a currency. And what else? That might be it. Well, I mean, we're sort of leading into some sort of dominant, well, I don't know.
New world,
isn't it? I mean, that's pretty crazy in terms of all those things.
And it's happened in the last 9 months.
Yeah.
You know, well, it hasn't. They've been happening before that, but it's exploded in the last 9 months. Yeah. So, I mean, you could argue two things. You know, if you're a technology optimist like me, these are good things. Obviously, needs to be checks and balances against those. But I can see why people are a little bit, where's this all going?
Yeah.
Because, you know, but again, because it's moving so fast, and of course, not forgetting, I was thinking of the train and on the way in, you know, the mobile's like 20 years. If that's not even that, maybe 15, 16 years when the iPhone kind of, kind of made it more popular. You don't think now that there's like 5 or 6 billion people around the world with this device in their hand, and that's happened in a generation. So why wouldn't that happen again? We're all kind of used to it. We know the privacy issues, the benefits, all the things of mobile. But this is where it's going. It's not going to stop. Cat's out of the bag, right? So it will be fascinating to see where it goes. I don't think it's all good. I mean, there has been a few deep fake issues more recently coming out as well as part of the technology kind of explosion. And that is bad AI. I mean, Labour conference happening this week, Keir Starmer, brand new deep fake. We had last week, or 2 weeks ago, Tom Hanks. If you remember COVID, when everyone started taking it seriously, my God, if Tom Hanks can get COVID, bloody hell. If Tom Hanks can be deep faked and so on. Yeah. So
Mr. Beast.
You get Mr. Beast exactly the same, which, you know, again, for the younger generation and so on, kind of very influential.
Yeah.
So I'm not being dystopian about it, but there's checks and balances. There's lots of things happening. But again, you've got to focus, I think, a little bit on kind of being reasonable about this.
And you've got to educate people as well, right? The Mr. Beast deep fake doesn't sound like him. It's asking you to pay money for something. So, you know, there's a couple of things here which are like, clearly if something's too good to be true, it is. don't pay money to anybody who's then going to send you something in terms of a prize win. And we're sort of almost in a phase where as well, this was interesting that I came across where, you know, people's exact voices were being copied to use to ring a family member to ask for money to be transferred. So we are in a place now where, like, if you've got a family, you should probably think about having some sort of safe word. I know you've got your own safe word for other things, but like a family safe word where you can actually identify, is this my son or daughter or spouse or partner or whatever else? Because it might be an AI impersonating them asking me to do something, right?
Yeah, of course. Or more pertinently, we could do that with your Snoop Dogg story. Let's just check if it's him, because it plainly isn't, is it?
No. Of course it's not him.
So that's on my mind. I'm going to spend far too much time the next 3 weeks doing that.
Doesn't matter. I've still won LinkedIn for the month. Doesn't matter.
It's a new month.
Yeah.
That was last
all
month.
Right. Let's see what you do this month, all right?
TBC.
Exactly. Okay. Right. We got some things coming up, haven't we?
We do.
We got some stuff coming up. We are running a 6-week generative AI course specifically for internal comms teams. So this is any person working in internal comms from anywhere in the world. It's an online course. As I said, 6 weeks. There's something every week, and it's going to take you from wherever you are to a very, very strong understanding of AI, and particularly generative, and dive into real-world use cases for internal comms teams.
Looking forward to that.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Starting in November?
Yeah, starting in November. We got massive brands signed up already.
Yeah.
Can't name drop them at the moment for legal reasons, but they're big.
Yep.
So, yeah, starting in November, we'll put a link in the comments on the screen. So if you're in internal comms, definitely get yourself signed up for that.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well, just on the download front, we've got a few things that people can come and grab. If you haven't seen our book, the world's funniest, most recent AI book in the world that I wrote with no AI help, have a look at that. It's on our site.
Hold on. The slight lie. There was some AI help, right?
5%.
The images were AI.
55%.
They're half the book. Yeah.
Yeah, but I prompted it.
No, well.
I didn't do the copy. Anyway, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
And you can pick it up at generate.com. We've also got some other downloads which help. Because what we're finding is, as we're going through the year, is I think most businesses we talk to now are not asking the question about, should I do something with AI? It's how do I start?
Yeah.
Right. So we're, as part of a new kind of fast-growing consultancy to helping businesses to understand that landscape and then do something about it, we've got a bunch of downloads. So still the stat is really, it blows my mind, this stat that we've seen a few times from our work and from the top down from lots of research we've done, is that 80% or near 80% of businesses don't have an AI policy, which is A, worrying legally, and B, what are you thinking about? You should do one. So we've got a Kickstarter AI policy on generate.com. Go today, you can download that.
Yep.
Give you some thoughts, some ideas about how to do it, and some templates to get started.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's also useful.
And I think that what we're seeing, which was interesting because Ethan Mollock on, I hope I pronounced his name right, something like that on LinkedIn, have posted that basically every department is going to become an R&D department with AI. We're sort of seeing that as well, actually, aren't we? Because the policy stuff, it's almost like you need one for a department first and foremost to build up to an organizational wide one, because all these departments that we're talking to are unlocking budget and looking at how they can build their own processes and systems to speed things up with AI. And in some cases, rethink them altogether, right? This isn't just making what's there go faster. This is in some cases a complete rethink. So yeah, if you're in one of those places, definitely download the policy guide, have a look, because it will frame your thinking to be able to really get going.
Yeah, definitely. And last thing, it's probably slightly more conversational, but we do have some strategy canvases we're working with some clients on. And that again is taking a step back a little bit, because it's difficult sometimes for businesses to understand what their AI strategy should be, because it covers lots of different things. You know, employee engagement, cybersecurity, privacy, your own data, where things sit within your own kind of systems, operations, all that kind of stuff. So we're helping businesses to simplify that as well. And that's a fascinating space to be in, actually. It's just kind of helping them to understand the technology through the lens of their own business in a simple kind of strategic canvas way, so they can work out their vision, their objectives, and how that rolls out across the board. And that's also, I think, really, really helpful and useful. So if anyone wants to come and talk to us about that, we do have some downloads, but it's probably more worth a conversation, I think.
Nice.